I need it all. Do you want it though? Where do I begin? I see the hate, they don't wanna see me win. Think the price, I got more coming in. Top down, throw the money in the wind. I don't want it all. Heard he scammer, had to switch up the accounts. Moving paper, gotta call it my account. It's all in, I can have it coming out. They through the struggle, I can see another drought. Yeah, it's not a purse, it's a merch. 6 figures was a goal, now it's 9 or a hearse. Put it work. Used to pull up, not swerve. No time for the snakes, time to put them in the dirt. That's word. I gotta get it, it's in my DNA. You only see the highlights, don't know what it takes. Last year stressing, got no sleep. Now I'm right between the courts, out of nosebleeds. I see the hate, they don't wanna see me win. Think the price, I got more coming in. Top down, throw the money in the wind. I don't want it all. Heard he scammer, had to switch up the accounts. Moving paper, gotta call it my account. It's all in, I can have it coming out. They through the struggle, I can see another drought. Yeah, same circles to the same gang. We just get to it, we don't gangbang. Lost some friends to the same thing. Keep a low pro when we maintain. Find us in.
Hey guys, welcome to the 5F's to Love Network. I know you guys are probably thinking Finance Squad night. Well, it is Finance Squad, but I'm coming on because before we get this conversation started, we want to just have a conversation just about debt, just in general. There's no such thing as good debt and bad debt. I just want to be clear before we get started. There's debt. So we need to talk about all the different types of debt. And then next Saturday, you guys need to get your paper and pen out because you guys know how they roll. You need to be ready because today we're just talking about debt. So you can start going through your budget. If you can recall, they just finished a series about budgeting. But now you need to know what's in that budget that's considered debt or potential debt. So you guys know, let me bring in a finance squad. We got Forrest, Santana, and Mordecai. Guys, what's going on?
How you doing?
What's going on?
Listen, I'm excited. And the reason why I'm excited is because I feel like African Americans are the largest consumer of senseless debt. I call it senseless, pointless debt. There was something I saw on social media where a young lady had 84 payments for a 1998 Ford of $187.
Wow.
Like literally. So what does that say about our community, our people? We're not financial literate enough to understand that wasn't a good deal. Like that was not a good deal. So folks, tonight I'm coming on because I just want to talk about, and some examples will be about me, but I'm going to ask you guys questions about debt in order to get us prepared for your big lesson next Saturday, which I'm really excited about because you guys are going to break some stuff down. So the first question I'm going to ask you guys, I know a lot of people who have credit cards, and like the credit card debt is what I would call stupid debt because you're paying 5 times for something, and if you had just saved for it, those red bottom shoes, ladies, you just could have went and bought the one pair of red bottoms and walked away. I don't know, but now you paid for 10 and you're only wearing 1. But this is the thing. I know people when they run those credit card specials, if you transfer your balance to us for 0% for 6 to 8 months, you know what I mean? And they'll transfer that debt to that credit card. Explain that to me, because I'm not a big person on that whole thing, but explain it to me and everyone else watching why they should not do that.
Well, before we answer that question, Christine, we need to talk about D. We want to just give our definition of the acronym DEBT because that's going to answer the question. So I'm Santana, you know, this is in his wheelhouse. And so you got to tell us what I need. We need everybody listening to write down the acronym DEBT, and we're going to give you what DEBT stands for. And then we're going to talk about transferring this debt from one debt to another. So Santana, what's this debt, man?
Finance Squad tagline or theme is debt is doing everything before time.
Say it again.
Doing everything before time. Now, I've been talking to a few people regarding this doing everything before time and got some interesting pushback. And the pushback I got back, and Christine will get to you, is, okay, in America, everything is kind of built on debt. So if we don't have debt, and this is a little spoiler alert, if we don't have debt, then mainly as the African American community, how do we accumulate assets? How much there'd be a great disparity in accumulation of assets if we don't have debt to cover the bridge, the gap between the cash, the liquidity to acquire. How would an African American acquire a home if they didn't have the ability to get a mortgage?
We could buy land, we could buy all kinds of
But
things.
you know what? But Santana, you're right. But what my thing is, why buy a house that it takes two people to pay the mortgage, and if one person loses a job, then that debt becomes an anchor, and you're drowning in the debt. So my thing is, there is a good debt. Like my home, I own it. I figured out in 10 years how to pay it off.
But see, you're talking from an informed person that gets into debt.
Right.
Most people, when you get into debt, you should know how you're going to get out of debt.
Correct.
And I think
what's your exit strategy?
We're doing one part of the equation. We celebrate in church when we buy the car.
Right.
We celebrate in church when we get the house. Right. How many? It used to be, and this is when you get into what happened from the African Americans of old, because they had debt burning ceremonies, because it was more to them to own it than to obtain it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It was a greater weight on the ownership than obtaining an asset. And so as we transition in generations, we've just all been about obtaining.
Accumulating the stuff and not figuring out the plan to pay it off. Yeah,
accumulation, not ownership. And so there has to be a shift. I mean, even if you take a biblical perspective, you go to the Bible says if you owe a man, in 7 years, run and beg to be forgiven. So
say that again.
If you owe someone, at year 7, run to them and beg to be forgiven. It didn't say that it was demonic or anything like that about getting into debt. The emphasis was on, at some point, you need to get this from around your neck, get out of it. And there's an urgency to get the mortgage. There's an urgency to get the car note. There's an urgency to get the red bottoms. There's an urgency to go on vacation. But there's not the equal urgency to pay it off.
Santana, don't talk about my red bottoms that I had to put on my credit card.
Well,
I think one of the things you said there is key, Santana, is the urgency is to obtain all these things. And we think by going out and getting them, even if I get it on credit, I now own it. No, you don't. The bank does. You don't own it. It's not an asset to you until you're no longer paying somebody else for it. That's by definition, that's what it is. It's a liability to you as long as you're paying for it.
So let me ask you guys a question, because I'm not a finance expert. If I wanted to make it, we're not going to talk about big purchases yet. I'll hold that off. If you're looking at, because a lot of times I think we equate the concept of something expensive. And here's a good example. How many of us have eyeglasses that cost $800 for eyeglasses? You go, your insurance company pays for the eye exam. Okay. But then you purchase these glasses and they tell you, we're going to give you $100 towards it. Right. Right. But then you come out with some Gucci frames for $800. So now you've taken your credit card to pay the difference. You get what I'm saying? So let's talk to me about just my eyeglasses that I've just put on my credit card, and it's $800. And what is the average interest rate?
19. 20%. I mean, I think
it can be as high as 28%.
Yeah, 28%.
Okay, let's say 19% on a dollar. How much extra have I paid for these $800 frames?
19% extra. That's compounding monthly.
So we can round that up to 20%. 20% of a dollar is what?
20 cents.
20 cents. So now we take that 20 cents and multiply
you
by
paid $160. That $800 pair of glasses and
but see, here's the thing y'all are missing on. Here's the thing. No one cares about the 160 when I got my Gucci's on. Y'all talking crazy. See, y'all are assuming that I care about the 160. What's wrong with y'all? Like,
I got
forget
my
that.
Gucci frames on.
I got my Gucci frames, and nobody make the frame like Gucci, so they look sweet on my face, blah, blah, blah. This is what we're missing in the whole, because we are assuming that we all have the same values, and we don't. But here's the deal. As Santana said, you can actually own the thing versus owing it and it owning you. So for instance, do you have to have 5 pair of glasses? No. Do you have to have 5 Gucci frames? No. You can actually save $20. You can take that same 19-20% and save it, and then after 4 or 5 months, go and pay for the frame. Now, guess what?
You can go get glasses right now for $20. What you talking about? They don't have to be Gucci. You can take that 160 and get 10 pair of a no-name brand.
But they're not going to be Gucci though. You're
right.
Well, let me the CPA in me. Let me offer this.
Can I write them off?
It's February. You've filed your taxes, hopefully, and you're getting a refund. If you want those Gucci glasses so bad, take your refund and pay cash for them. If you want something so bad, then what are you willing to give up for it? So if you want those Gucci glasses, then take your refund and pay cash for it and be done with it.
What was the statement we started this show with?
Doing everything before time.
Bingo.
And getting on the right.
How does that relate? How does that relate to the Gucci glasses? See, we go out and buy things on credit. We owe on it instead of owning it, and there's a distinct difference between the two.
But I think that's the challenge, though. I think the challenge is in this conversation is us moving to an ownership mentality, like setting that as the higher value. That everything we talk about, we want to shift people to owning, right? Like the owning mentality. If I can't own it, then I don't want it. And how am I going to own it? I'm going to save for you. And here's the deal. There's a freedom that comes when you own something.
Oh my God.
And when you taste that consistently, you're like, I'm done. I don't need that now. And the other thing is go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I said on a previous show, vernacular is extremely important. We need to redefine ownership. See, we've been tricked. I get it on a credit card, I own it. No, you don't. We've been tricked. So we don't need to redefine ownership. We need to define ownership.
What ownership is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, folks.
What got me
I'll tell you what, give me one quick second, guys. We're going to do a quick commercial break. And folks, when we get back, we're going to talk about how Christine could have paid for these glasses instead of paying for them on time. That's if you are Christine. If you're a real Christine, you got them from the consignment shop for $126. We won't get into that because I don't believe in throwing money away. All right, we'll be right back in one quick second after this quick commercial break.
My name is Christine Burkett, the inventor of the 5 F's to Love. This is a compatibility app. It's an app that gives you an opportunity to rate words that start with the letter F in chronological order of importance to you, to help you find your one true love, your soulmate, and the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. So after you've taken the time to rate your F's in chronological order, you send a link to the person, I don't know, you just met, or the person you've been dating for quite some time. Or maybe it's the person you've been married to for 30 to 40 to 50 years. And then you compare your top 5 F's to find out what things you have in common and things that you may perhaps need to work on. This is taking a simplistic perspective on how to find your one true love, your soulmate, the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. And thank you for downloading the 5 F's app.
Hey guys, welcome back to the 5 F's to Love podcast network. And yes, you're talking to the finance squad tonight. So tonight, before we even get into their whole debt session, I want you guys to understand they just wanted to have a basic conversation to help you identify what debt is, how we accumulate it, and how we need to come up with a plan. Next week, they're actually going to break down and show us different strategies and resources out there that will help us minimize our debt and come out on top on the back end. But first, y'all should have been working on them budgets. Just because I'm not on the podcast, folks, don't think I don't know what's going on. I'm producing. And I heard them say, and they gave you links for a simple budget, and there's one that's a little more complex. Folks, you need to complete those budgets before you start their session on debt resolution. So really focus on that. So guys, let's get back to these Gucci frames because we're famous for that. Those red bottoms, the Gucci frames, and making these purchases that we really cannot afford on just small little items. This is like a no-brainer. So I end up paying $1,200 for these at the end of the day. What could I have done with that $1,200 if I wasn't spending it on these this year?
Well, I think it goes back to our discussion in the beginning about your big goals. It's the little things that they said it's the little things that destroy the vine. The small foxes destroy the vine. If you're trying to buy a home or you're trying to fund your child's education, you would feel really bad that, man, I was $1,200 short from actually, like, that's all I really needed. And I've had people to get to the place where they're at the close or trying to get approved, and all they need is that $1,200. And I said, hey, here's where the $1,200 is. If you add up every time you went to Starbucks, every week and every month, there was your $1,200. And they're like, oh, well, it was only like $6, but you went 3 times a day. You went.
Let me get my calculator out.
And afternoon, you can figure it out every week. And you're like, oh, I didn't realize I was spending $150 a week on Starbucks or $80, right? And so it's the little things. If we can just start on just little things, watch this. Here's my rule. If it's going to be.
Oh my gosh, Mordecai, you're right. That's $504 a month just on Starbucks.
But it comes out so small, we don't recognize it. And here's one of my rules, and I'm gonna let Santana and Forrest. If it's gonna be in the river in less than 2 hours,
listen,
don't need it. It's gonna be in the river in 2 hours. I tell everybody, take the $10.
If the bathroom is catching it, then you don't need to have it. If the bathroom is catching it,
why would I make Starbucks rich on something that's gonna be in the river in 2 hours? I'm done. That's just my rule. That's one of my rules.
So Santana, I'm a business owner. Why can't I write off my Starbucks for $504 a month?
I mean, meals. I mean, you can swing it. But you're talking the difference between cash and a write-off. You know, so you got to look at that picture because cash is king. And that's one of the things we're talking about. We're trying to put business owners and we're trying to put the individuals in a better cash position. Because once you free up cash, you have freedom. And you have freedom to acquire things for cash. And you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay the bank is getting rich off of debt.
Very, very. Fundamentally, we have to understand this. We're talking about an $800 pair of glasses. You know, we're talking about small things, but fundamentally, that's only half of the issue or half of the problem. Our results don't just happen by happenstance. They're directly impacted by the things that we do. And our actions, the things that we do, are directly impacted by how we think. Listen, do you want to live in a home or do you want to own a home? Do you want to live in a home or do you want to own a home? These are two distinctly different things.
Yeah.
So this is not popular, what I'm about to say. I have Asian friends, and it might be 4 or 5 families living in the same house, all saving money to go pay cash for the next house.
Listen.
Or to have a huge down payment on the next house. That's taboo.
That's a mindset of wanting not to be in debt.
Exactly.
But it's also a mentality of we came here for a certain reason.
Right.
We were brought here. Others come here and they see it as an opportunity to, to advance themselves within the system. We do have to really acknowledge that there is some carryover from how we got here in our thinking. And, all we could have is our clothes. Your Sunday go to meeting shoes. So it's not like we just out here just foul. There's something happened.
Okay, Mordecai, I gotta challenge you. I want to
encourage those out here that are still breaking free from that. Because
but Mordecai, seriously, you're telling me right now, I am 52 this year. My parents and my parents, my great grandmother was the last slave on a plantation. You mean to tell me in my mind, I'm still in that mindset?
Yes.
I'm the first to go to college.
It
I
doesn't.
guess
It
for
doesn't
me,
matter. College has nothing to do with it. It's called epigenetics. You carry that in your gene. That it
okay,
has
why
nothing.
is it that some of us carry it and some of us don't? Are we
It's
choosing?
exposure. Santana got exposed to something.
Yeah.
Without
Okay.
that exposure,
Yeah.
it would be different. Forrest got exposed. I got exposed. If you don't have the conversations and no one's sitting you down having this
Bingo.
conversation, you're going to replicate what you saw.
Bingo.
So what you're saying is, even though I'm like multiple years away from slavery, that because my family is still in that mindset, I'm consistently being immersed in that foolish thinking of I need to own something and I spend it on glasses, a $300 pair of sneakers, $400 pair of jeans, right?
Yeah, because we believe
Instead
in
of
looking
taking that
good.
same money and doing something else with it.
And
Correct.
here's the thing:
Okay.
once someone models that in front of you, it becomes your new paradigm, right? Like what
Okay.
Santana's talking about, owning a home. For instance, how many of our people have a desire to own a skyscraper? We're not exposed to that level of commercial real estate. That don't even enter our minds. I want
Did
to
you say a skyscraper?
a skyscraper.
Mordecai?
You understand? But you get what I'm
we
saying.
get them to owning a house.
But the point I'm making is that's some people's reality. They want to own
Right.
half a downtown. They want to own, multiple
Right.
condominiums.
Mhm.
So it's about exposure. So I don't want us to be up on here like not recognizing that exposure is really important. Even if we've been to college, that has nothing. They don't teach financial literacy in college. It is a thinking that if I purchase this on my credit card, I own it because I went to the club, I look good, I came home, and I can pay $38 on this credit card, and it's all good. But what are you passing on? What do you really? And I
How do
say
we
this.
shift that, Mordecai?
Well, when I went to Africa, I noticed there was a big difference in how they did their life. They owned their phone. They didn't understand paying payments on a phone.
Right, because
They
we do
own
that
their
as well.
phone. If everybody is driving around with a car in this one country, they all own it. Like if you don't have it, you own the bus or you own the moped or you walking.
Okay.
There is no financing.
Right.
And you own your home. There is no system of credit to keep people in. That's when I went to Nigeria and I went to Benin and I started asking, and they were like, no, we are all about ownership. That's when I said, okay, I have gotten the lie. I've bought into the lie. I'm done. And so what my wife and I did, we did not have one credit card for 10 years. We lived off the debit card. If it wasn't in the account, we just didn't do it.
How hard was that?
It was very hard. But guess what?
Okay.
The phone wasn't ringing.
Right.
No one was
You
calling.
weren't dodging them calls.
We didn't have to deal with none. We could open up the mail. Everybody got that stack of mail that nobody want to open. The point is, it taught us discipline, and it reset our values as to what was really important. And we had to pull together and say, we don't really have to go out to dinner every Friday and every Sunday.
Right.
Why? Because we want to live a certain kind of way when we get into our 30s and our 40s and our 50s. So all I'm saying is we can change the way we think by having these conversations. There is a sweetness and a freedom that Santana said when you own something. Look at the look on Forrest's face. He don't look like he got stressed at all. You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
So there, you can do this even with small salaries. Right. Just
okay, well, wait, let's talk about that. So let's say right now, you guys are the experts. I just got this house. I'm making $50,000 a year, but I'm watching you right now, Mordecai, saying, just don't use my credit cards, right? I just got to start paying cash for everything and paying my mortgage and paying my car note. Walk me through what that looks like in real world on 50 grand a year. And I got a mortgage. So Santana, how much can my mortgage for real be for me to really live that way to stop this? Like right now, I just got to stop. I got to get on the right side of this.
Come on now.
How do I do that?
Before you answer that question, Santana, I'm going to say you start by stop using the credit card. You stop.
Yep.
You stop using it. And that sounds difficult. That sounds hard. To some, that might sound impossible. No, what it sounds like is you need to make a decision. Stop.
If
I'm in a hole and I can't get out, the first thing I should do is stop digging.
So that means cut up the credit cards and just save one for emergency. Just one.
Stop. I don't want to hear nothing about a credit score. I don't want to hear nothing about establishing it. Stop using it.
That stops the bleeding. That stops
exactly.
And you don't have to set it up.
To answer your question, you're looking at about a $1,200 a month mortgage.
Okay, fair enough.
You're probably looking more at a townhome or condo or an older home that you can afford. So that's, but you have to have reserves in case things break down, but you're looking more at a townhome or condo. I want to say this about the unfortunate thing about debt is you don't realize sometimes you're really in debt till you can't afford the debt.
Until it's too late,
Because what Sean said is the phone stopped ringing. Well, if you're 15 days late on something that you owe, you're gonna start getting phone calls. Oh, yeah. They're gonna make you aware that you owe now. Each company is a little more graceful. No, they're 15 days out. You got from the 1st to the 15th to make that payment. Mm-hmm. If you have not made that payment, you will start getting calls. So that should alert you that I don't own this, because if I own it, they wouldn't be calling me telling me where's your payment.
Bingo.
And if you don't pay it, yes, they have more programs than in 2008 to keep you in your home, but you will be doing some kind of program to stay in that house.
That's right.
And so this is the reality. I'm not saying that you don't do things before time. I'm saying when you do things before time, be cognizant of the fact that you need an exit strategy.
Yes.
Because if you get your dream home, let's talk real talk. It is still some people today that's gonna get their dream home at 50. Now because I want to name it, claim it. I'm getting that house at 50. Well, the reality, let's fast forward. Okay, if you're gonna retire at 65, you're gonna be servicing the dream home mortgage from age 65 to 80. You're gonna put in your retirement years, you're gonna put the stress of that debt on your back in the days you're supposed to be relaxed.
Yeah.
Property taxes are gonna keep escalating. You're on fixed income at that point because you're living off your 401k or something like that. And but if you bought your dream home and say, listen, I got to be out of this in 15 years.
Exactly.
I see the financing agreement. I see how much I'm going to pay X bank. I'm not giving them all my money. So I need to pay them off quicker. Give me the 15-year mortgage opposed to a 30-year.
So Santana, you said going in with that plan. So that's the plan.
Yes.
You're not saying don't do it, but have your exit strategy.
Have your exit strategy.
Right.
Don't get in with not knowing how to get out.
That's
exactly. If you don't have a plan, if you don't have a plan, you're really planning to fail. You just haven't realized it yet. You have to have an exit strategy.
The other thing that does is that it makes you kind of sleepy. It makes you think you're in a place that you're not. And when you stop using your credit cards and all the things that's extending your buying power, what I found, I can only just say it makes you hungry to do other things that maybe you wouldn't have done. It kicks off different decisions where I'm going to actually sell this. I'm good at doing this. I'm going to create another revenue stream, right? And what we find is that people they're full of gifts and talents. But as long as you're able to charge and live out here and live large, but when you say, I'm going to stop this and I'm going to be free, you start asking the question, who am I for real? Without the red bottoms, without the glasses, without all the things, who am I for real? And how do I really want to live? That's the question, because that's the goal.
I want to chime in on something that we all lived through that exposed all of us. COVID. All of these things, when we were stuck in the house, we realized we didn't have to have. Savings number, if you go back and look at statistics, savings were high during the COVID period. all these numbers show that we really don't need this stuff. We got granted an opportunity to recenter our spending appetite. And doggone it, as soon as COVID was over, we going right back. We right back at it. We right back at it. So we can't. We already know what we can live without. We already know the answer.
Well, Santana, two things. One, I want to talk to you about the amortization schedule. But before I do that, I'm going to respond to that question, which was Amazon made more money during COVID than any other company. Amazon tore it up. People were getting deliveries to their house. So they didn't stop shopping. They just stopped going to go get the shopping. You know, I have people say, I'm going to get this, so when COVID is over, I'm ready. Well, forget all that mess. But what I want to talk to you guys about was the amortization schedule on mortgages. That's one of the things that my dad sat down and talked to me about, which was what you were saying. It's a plan. It's an exit strategy. So I made my mortgage payment, but I also got the amortization schedule and paid the extra, which went towards the principal. And it helped me pay the house down faster. So can one of you guys kind of go through so our African Americans can understand there is a way for you to do this. You just have to ask the bank for the amortization schedule.
Right. And they provide that. They provide how much you're going to pay, the number of periods of payments, and they do that for most financing things. Well, we have to become disciplined in the fact that even if I take a 30-year, how much can I put extra every time I get some money? How can I put money towards it that reduces how much I pay the bank? So this is, the first 5 years, almost all your payments goes towards interest.
Yeah,
and then the principal.
Say it again. The first 5 years. Say it again.
It goes to the bank. They get their money off the top, as they say.
Off the top.
For loaning this money, I'm gonna get my first 60 months mainly going to us as the bank. Then as it starts going into more years, the principal starts going down. But you'll look in year one like, oh, well, my mortgage only went down for what the loan amount was $500 to $1,000.
Right.
Because the bank got theirs off the top. And so we have to be more cognizant of when I do everything before time, everybody get theirs except me.
Correct.
Because I got it, but they got more than me. Yeah. And then it's systematically designed. By the time you pay it off, you want it again. So you're coming back to me again. Because you're not. If you stay in a house 30 years, if you buy a house at 30, how many people bought a house at 30 and stayed until they were 65 or until they went on to glory? Very few people. You get about 30.
Very few.
You got to go back a few generations for that.
Yeah. You get a house at 30, man, I passed through that new area across town, and man, that the way they got it set up, I'm gonna just go on and take the equity. I'm gonna go ahead
and get that new house.
See, so I'm gonna hit a spoiler alert again for you all. One in former generations, the greatest way to secure their retirement was to pay the house off.
Yep.
When the kids are gone, they sell the house and shift down.
Yep. Now, folks, we're going to a quick commercial break.
Yes.
And I want to tell y'all need to marinate on that and stop all this moving around, because real talk, this house that I'm in, I'm giving it to my son because I own it. And trust me, I cut a lot of corners, didn't do everything I wanted to do, but at the end, it's worth it. So I'm going to be one of them 50-year-old people buying their dream house, but on a 10-year plan, because I'm going to do my exit strategy. Y'all playing with it. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break. Hey guys, welcome back to the 5Fs to Love Network. Listen, we're discussing debt to prepare you for the sessions that they're going to start talking about debt resolution. You know, Santana has this slogan, and by the way, you can't take it as trademark, okay? Doing things before time. That is called debt, okay? So this when we left this conversation, we were talking about people like me in their 50s. You know, you want to buy your dream home, but there's a smart way to do it, and then there's not so smart way to do it. So Santana, pick up where you left off in explaining the amortization schedule. Even though you get a 30, pay it off in half, all of those things, and then we're going to go right into the next segment.
Yeah, so we were just to recap, we're talking about if you're 50 years old and you go get your dream home and get a 30-year mortgage, that puts you at 80 years old. Well, if you're retiring at 65, that then puts a lot of stress on your household to then service this debt for 15 more years after you're now on a fixed income. So routinely, it is wise to take either a 15-year mortgage or to apply additional money towards your mortgage to see how quick you pay it off within that 15-year window. So if you're at work and you're getting bonuses and all these things, you need to start dumping that money, not go on vacation.
Right.
But to make sure you can go on vacations by paying this mortgage off with that extra money. And that's just something.
If you get a tax return, you can use your tax return.
That's right. Yep.
So you're saying set up like a separate savings account and just dump all that extra money in that account and don't touch it.
Yes. I don't even think it's the saving account. When you get the money, just put it towards the mortgage.
Just put it right on the mortgage.
Because then you put it in the saving account, you may do something else with it eventually.
The other thing that I heard.
Also, Santana, you do have to tell the bank this is going towards principal or interest. Like you have to tell them. Don't just give them the money and don't tell them.
Once you've made the monthly payment, anything you apply to it after that in that month, tell them this goes toward principal.
But you have to put that on that. That's right.
And it's the same thing if you make additional payments to a car payment. You need to let them know that, hey, this is to go towards the principal balance.
Okay, so you know what? I know something that maybe other people don't know, but I know who know the answer on this. So Forrest, it was something that my dad said to me, and it was related to insurance. And so we paid into insurance. And so when I got finished with school and I got ready to purchase a home, we cashed out that policy. And that helped me with my down payment. As Black folks, we think insurance is just for burials. I don't understand why we don't understand how insurance works. So can you give us just a high level overview of what insurances are and how other cultures use it to pay for houses, to, pay for weddings? Like they use it to help build their future and not just for funerals. Okay.
Oh yeah. Insurance is a unique vehicle and can be used in several ways. I would recommend and suggest that anybody who really wants to get into the weeds about this, sit down with a professional and actually have a conversation, because situations are like fingerprints. They're different. Everybody got them, and yours may not necessarily be like mine. But generally speaking, there are insurance contracts that are purely for burial. And if you die within the period of time that you have the contract, somebody's getting a death benefit. If you don't, no harm, no foul. You don't get the death benefit paid out, and you don't owe me no more after a period of time. But then there are other types of contracts, permanent types of contracts, that can offer other benefits. The death benefit, we know about that, but they can also offer a living benefit where you can do any number of things depending on how that contract is structured and what you want to do with it to take advantage of some things while you're alive. No, you don't necessarily have to die to take advantage of an insurance contract.
Wow, thank you for that high level overview. So folks, if you're watching, I'm seriously, because y'all know us, we be like, Purvis insurance, we just gonna pay off his burial. But folks, it's other ways that insurance works. And you need to understand that. So again, if you ever want to reach out to these guys, you can reach out to me via DM to 5Fs to Love, and I will connect you with these guys so you can do a one-on-one personal conversation with them. But I want you guys to be educated on not just mortgages and amortization schedules, how to pay things off early, but also insurances. Now, the other thing I want to talk to you guys about, and Mordecai hit on it, it's that mindset. So if you guys, and you guys know, I love it when you guys give your examples. So I'm just asking for an example. What would you say to a person right now who cannot switch off that I gotta have it no matter what the cost is on the back end? Like they just not like more, they just gotta have it. So Forrest said that's easy.
That's easy. They ain't ready. They ain't ready. Bottom line, they're not ready. That's easy. They're not ready. They're not sick and tired of being sick and tired just yet. They're not ready. It's that simple.
Wow.
I would say we often say to legislatures that your budget is a moral statement of your priorities.
That's right.
Mordecai, don't be getting all high sedity on me. What you just say?
Your budget is a moral statement of your priorities. So when you look at your budget and you see how much you're spending on those items, then you have to own that this is who I am. I value walking around with Gucci glasses and Fendi, right? I'm not saying it's bad, but you have to own that. And then you also have to own the fact that you don't own anything, that you might not own anything. So you have to own all of it, the shine, the bling, the swag, but you also have to own the fact that, you know what, I'm probably paying $200 or more for my car too much, right? If I manage my money differently, I could have the glasses in time, but I could be paying less on everything else and building wealth. So I tell people, just own it. Like you're not ready, but own the fact that what you're saying to your family, to yourself is that I value things more than I value other items that would help build wealth. And so that's important, to let your budget speak to who you are at this moment.
Okay, folks.
At its core, Christian,
budget. I just want to reiterate one more time. They covered budget already. Go back and watch those previous podcasts, because Mordecai, Forrest, and Santana all mentioned budget. The mortgage, $1,200 a month. If you got 50 grand, if you over that, you just stop. If you're trying to get Gucci glasses, look at your budget. See where you're spending your money. So, Forrest already said you got to look at that budget and stop overspending.
Let me say this right here. I'm a kind of person that gotta have it, right? And so I'm just gonna keep it real. I like nice things, but here's one of my rules: I don't shop anywhere I can't negotiate. So if I want the Gucci glasses, I make up in my mind I'm gonna pay $100. When I walk in and you tell me they $700, I'm not paying a $700. What I allocated for these Gucci glasses is $100. So you mean to tell me I'm gonna give you $7? No, this is what I got. So I'm gonna go somewhere I can get the Gucci glasses for $100. Now y'all gonna be on Warby Parker. Y'all gonna be on the website. I'm gonna have the Gucci glasses for the same amount you paid. So that's one of my rules: is you don't have to sacrifice everything. Know what you're going in. What do you have going in, and become a good negotiator. Don't be no fool for no stuff.
Okay.
It's funny that you started talking about glasses, Chris. Listen, personally, for me, when my reality became more important to me than what you thought my reality was, my spending habits didn't change. When my reality became more important to me than what you thought my reality was, see, I was running around looking like the mannequin in the window. It was window dressing. It looked good on the mannequin. It don't look like my body ain't shaped like that mannequin. I got curves and bends in places the mannequin don't. It don't look like me. When I stopped caring about looking like the mannequin, then it didn't matter. The reason I say it's funny that you talk about glasses, I got on designer glasses right here, and these are prescription. I don't remember what they were. I liked them because they was black with a gold touch. When I bought these, I also bought Burberry, and I bought Dolce & Gabbana. I paid cash for them. I didn't pay the exam. My insurance paid for that, and I think my insurance put $20 to $50 on each one of the frames. I went to Pearl Vision with a pocket full of money because I knew why. I needed a pair of blue frames, a pair of brown frames, and a pair of black frames. Why? Because I went and bought the suits off those mannequins. Not because I cared about what you thought, but because I liked the suits.
Right. Because you got coordinated with the suits.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm a gotta have it person too, but I really want to have it. I just don't want to look like I got it.
That's right. That's right.
See, listen, it's difficult to look good when you're hungry. You got all these bills, you can't eat. You can't look good like that.
You gotta say it.
But you know, Christine, I think the mistake in all of this is we think our gross income determines I gotta have his spirit. Yes. we gotta have it at 10,000. We gotta have it at 25. You got kids that gotta have it at $0.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's the old adage: if you learn how to be faithful over few, you'll be a ruler over many.
That's right.
Because the behavior starts with no matter what level you're at.
That's right.
So if you're not able to control your gotta have it spirit while you got a part-time job in high school, right? You're not gonna be able to control your gotta have it spirit when you get that first job out of college. And you definitely ain't gonna be able to control it when you gotta have a spirit and you've been promoted to executive, and not every day you want to be. I don't know if women still wear St. John's or whatever. You know, back in the day, they still do. So you got on the St. John's and the red bottoms every day, you pulling up, and you driving a convertible. I gotta have it Benz. So it doesn't not change no matter what level of income you're at. You know, being a high income allow you to mask a lot of your mistakes. Right.
Yes.
But the mistakes were being made way back when you were making 10,000 a year working at Burger King. They were there.
You know, my boss said to me one time when I got to where you talking about Forrest and Santana, I was like, you know what? I look good on the outside, but I'm not good.
That's right.
Right.
My grandmother had passed, and I think she had a little policy. And I was looking at it, all the older generation passing. I'm like, you know, I got to change something in my life. And so I downsized, right? I got rid of the BMW, got rid of the Navigator. I had a Navigator and a BMW. Got rid of both of them and got me a Mazda. Used Mazda, paid, $2,500 for it, right? My boss walked up to me and said, Sean, are you going through a life crisis? I said, what you mean? He said, I noticed that you're downsizing. I didn't even think he was paying attention. I said, no, I'm not going through a life crisis. I said, I'm just driving a Mazda. And it's that temptation that will push us to go back to living that life. Yeah, exactly. Right. And I had to eat that humble moment that he perceived that me downsizing was that I was going through. Yeah, I was going through a crisis.
A negative thing. Yeah,
it was a negative
thing. Mordecai, you walked us right into our next segment. Folks, we're going to quick commercial break. When we get back, we're going to talk about the impact of social media and socializing with people and how that makes us feel we're less than when we don't have the same that they do. That's called the Joneses syndrome. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break so we can talk about all y'all Joneses wannabes. What did Forrest say? Even the Joneses ain't the Joneses.
They broke.
They broke. They broke. They broke.
We'll be right back.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, welcome back to the 5F to Love Network podcast. Listen, Finance Squad, I know you see him, so you know we're talking about money. So listen, if you missed the first couple segments, we're ending this segment on social media and socializing and the impact it has on us as individuals. Everybody wants to live up to the hype, right? And we feel some sort of way. Like Mordecai said, you know, he didn't went to Lil Mas and his boss was like, are you going through a crisis? So the thing is, folks, these guys are going to talk to you about how to manage these emotional grabs for like likes. That means on social media or in reality. I don't care about likes. Everybody who knows me, I don't go to Somerset. I shop at consignment shops. I own both of my cars. I own my house. Like I don't owe anybody. I figured out what I wanted and I saved my money and then went and paid for it. I believe in that. So I just want to say, when you see Christine, ain't nobody calling me. All this stuff. Who you know who calling me? DTE, which they should, because if you one day late, DTE got a little extra. You gonna pay your electric bill, girl? So that's the only people that's calling me. When I get a phone, I pay for the phone. I'm not doing phone on time. So y'all better listen to them, because what I'm saying to you is I listen. You need to listen. So y'all go ahead and hit it. What's up with the social media making people feel like they need to have all of that and more? Yep. And by the way, half the folks that y'all watching on reality TV don't even own that stuff. It's rented. They don't even live like that.
So will I get in trouble for referring to Facebook as fake book?
No, you won't. That's an opinion. You're okay.
That's what I call it. I call it fake book. That's everybody's window dressing life. That's not reality. Because I know some of those folks. I know they lying. That's not how you getting it, bro. I know you. That's not your reality. I use those things. I try to stay up with, because I got young nieces and nephews, and they send me tweets and they send me all kind of stuff, and I try to stay up on that stuff. That stuff's a waste of time.
I think for us, you know, the reality is that people are making a lot of money putting their best self out. And I think we criticize this a lot of times, but you got girls that are making $400,000-$500,000 just showing their feet. Now you can't tell me, Forrest, that you would not do the same thing if you can make $400,000.
Mordecai, you're right. They are. OnlyFans is making people
with oil on your feet. You tonight would be taking pictures of your feet.
How much can I get for my hands, Mordecai?
You probably can get about $150,000 a week for your hands.
I'm about to set up my OnlyFans right now for my hands.
What I'm saying? So I think the thing is that people are. This from my heart. Don't be a fool for somebody else's fake reality.
Say that one more time.
Don't be a fool for somebody else's fake reality. Why would I pay you $19 a month for you to show me your feet when I got feet? Like again,
we can go to the mall and see feet for free.
But here's the deal: we have to recognize we're living in a whole nother world now, and people are getting. There's a benefit for being able to look into another person's life, and so I think our message is just, how authentic are you? How authentic do you really want to live, right? And there may be a value of you paying $19.99 to see some feet. I don't know. You might have a foot fetish. Who knows? The point is that social media is providing a lot of millionaires and a lot of young millionaires. I think for us, it's what are they actually leveraging with this cash that they're making, right? And then what are you putting out? Is it sustainable? So I read an article the other day where two school teachers just decided, you know what, it sucks. So they quit. They were both elementary school teachers. They quit teaching and opened up an OnlyFans account. And 6 months later, they're millionaires.
Are you kidding me?
I'm telling you the truth. Both of them. They're a married couple.
Folks, this is the last episode of 5F's to Love. I'm going and these guys are going to manage my money. You won't see them anymore, but I'm shutting this down. I'm doing OnlyFans.
And so I think it's important that we leverage this platform and really have real conversations, because guess what? Everything has an end. And we can't put all of our eggs in this medium, because it's constantly developing. New technology is going to make everything faster, and who knows what's going to happen in the next 5-6 years. So I think it's all about how authentic do you want to be? So I challenge people to not just put out the good thing, but put out the not so good things about your life,
Yeah.
right? Show people your worst side and have a balance in what you present.
Santana?
Well, I mean, we've all been there. I mean, I remember in high school, I think it's just progressed. You would have young ladies that would wear new shoes every day and put the tape on the bottom of them. So see, I mean, they were, as you say, clean as the board of health. But I say
tags in their clothes.
No. But if those same young ladies were living today, they would kill social media. So it's just a way for people now to monetize the fake life. I mean, people have been living fake lives from day one, and now they've found how to monetize it, which is a great thing. If you're gonna spend your last, then get something for it.
That's right.
Wow.
So now they're able to get something for it. It's a return on spending your last now.
Right.
Yeah. We started the program talking about the fake life. That's the whole credit card game. It's living something that I really can't afford.
And you see in college always, you went to HBCU, we gonna be clean on Fridays. And when we go out
to class.
To class.
Nothing in the closet.
That's right. We don't go jeans and t-shirt. We don't do that.
That's going, you be like, oh, don't waste nothing on it's going back.
You're right. That's at an HBCU. Yeah. I just want to keep it real. I wasn't one of them people. I wasn't dressing up at the school. I wasn't dressing up at Delaware State.
He said it's going back.
He said, Santana was one of them brothers. Santana was in the club like, don't touch me, because tomorrow this is going back to the store.
Exactly. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't put your makeup on me.
I'm gonna say this right here, though. I'm gonna say this right here. The Santana, I've been friends since first grade. He bought a leather jacket in college. I don't know if you remember that leather jacket. It was a tan leather jacket. It had a pocket on the back. I said to myself, how did this man buy this jacket? I'm walking around with hand-me-down. How did he buy this leather jacket, man? And it's things like that when we hanging out with a group of people, and some people have better disciplines than we do, and they're able to do some things. We have to ask, what's the personal impact that this is having on my life? And what I found for me, debt was killing my heart. And my cardiologist pulled me up, just really got in my face and said, asked me a point blank question and said, do you want to live to see your grandchildren? I said, what kind of fool question is that? And she said, the way you're going right now, you're not going to be here.
Right.
And what she challenged me was that you're not living an authentic life.
Wow.
And she gave me 4 things that I needed to do. I needed to manage my money better, and I need to manage for the future, because the future will come. That was the first thing she said.
Oh, it's coming.
And she said, you need to take your money and invest in your body and stop eating bad food. We ain't got to that part yet.
Right? But Mordecai, people are missing it. Debt is stressful.
It's stressful.
It's stressful. You're trying to juggle. You're trying to juggle all of this. So that 1 minute of looking clean is juggling for the rest of the week, for the rest of the month, for the rest of the year, trying to look clean.
I'm tired.
Listen. It's twofold. Paying the debt off is stressful. Trying to figure out how I'm going to get this thing so I can look like I'm prosperous brings a lot of anxiety to you.
Yes. I had
when finances almost I'm sure Mordecai and all the other married men in the world were different, but I got the dopest wife in the world, period.
Yeah, that's a serious bias right there. I want to go on record and not let you get away with that right there. The dopest, bro. Have you seen my wife, bro?
I'm voting for Tiffany. I'm voting for Tiffany, Santana.
I'll accept. I'm going to take that one for the home team. But listen, debt, poor management of finances, it almost cost me my wife, which then would have cost me my kids. It would have cost me so much. Finances are directly or indirectly the cause of 65 to 70% of divorces or marital issues. And it literally almost cost us.
Yeah.
I mean, we were literally at the point, it's either this or, period.
Wow.
That's where we were.
That's all of us. I mean, what Santana.
That's real talk.
We all been there. My wife was getting ready to leave me. because my concept was I gotta work more. I gotta earn more in order to take care of all the stuff I'm holding. So I was never around. So my wife said, I didn't get married to be single. So she started packing. She started packing her.
Santana, does it sound like somebody told you?
We start packing. She started packing. We in West Bloomfield. We got a condo in West Bloomfield Hill, right? And she's packing, and the phone rang. And a lady from the church was on the other line and said, "Girl, I don't know what you're getting ready to do, but God said, don't do it."
Don't do it.
Wow.
That's why we still together.
Santana.
And that was the reason why I waited, because I didn't want the stress of being an entrepreneur, the power with a relationship and kids and all that, trying to do both. So I wedded myself to my company and said, because there is a verse in the Bible that I know I've quoted a lot that makes sure your crop can produce enough to take care of your family. I think
that's right.
Yeah. And so there is a mandate for men before you say I do, that you already have the financial wherewithal in place to take care of a family. So I don't want to walk. Y'all making me walk.
No, Santana.
Walk the dog. Go on and walk the dog. We don't care about
Santana. Here's the mandate, bro. God made Adam and put him in the garden. What's the first thing he gave Adam? A job.
Mm-hmm.
He gave him a job.
Wow.
He gave him a job. He gave him a job before he gave him a family.
He gave him a job.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah.
Responsibility.
You know what? You guys have all said a mouthful, and I just want to be clear, folks. The budget segments are already out there. Before they come back next Saturday, please go through and get your budget together, because the first thing they're going to say is go to your budget, and then they're going to start knocking out where you can kind of alleviate some debt and start saving some money to pay out those bigger items or putting savings away and doing what you got to do. Folks, all of us, real people, real situations, we're all made choices to do things a certain way. I think the reason why I'm not married is because I wanted to build up my companies the same way Santana. But there was one thing that was different. My clock was running out. So I had to negotiate them terms on that baby.
There's a negotiation.
You don't have to negotiate. Mordecai?
There's a negotiation. We all
had to negotiate. Well, I had to go to somebody and say, I'm gonna need you to help me have this kid, because as a woman, if I could have held off having a kid, I would have. As a man, you can do that. I couldn't, and I just wanted to have, and I'm grateful because I got a rock star for a kid, so it was worth it. But what I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, is this: is that as African Americans, we got to start living right, and you got to start thinking differently about your money. Since these guys have come on, I'm going to be 100% transparent with you. I'm going to make sure by the end of this year, I have literally zero debt. And that means debt in my companies and any debt in my personal life. I only got 3 credit cards and ain't much on them. But the point is that it don't need to be nothing on them. I need to have, and this is the honest goodness truth, I've been saying every day my I am statement. I need over $500K in a bank, and I need to be making over $1 million a year in interest. Gotcha. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it goes back to Mordecai saying that skyscraper, right? You got to start thinking about your exit strategy when you walk into stuff, because when I go to Santana and I say, Santana, I want to buy my dream house, he going to be like, Christine, I just did your taxes. And listen here, baby girl, this ain't going to happen this year, but 2 more years out, you can.
Right.
And that's the whole point. You got to be okay with somebody telling you no.
Yeah.
So Black folks, let me just say this. These Gucci frames, they're nice, but I didn't go get them from Gucci. I really didn't. I got them from a consignment shop. So to, like Mordecai say, you got to go where you can negotiate. Mm-hmm. And like Forrest said, even the Joneses is in debt. They ain't even the Joneses. Okay. And Santana said, now you might be able to deduct that Starbucks, but don't count on it.
Don't
okay, you ain't got to have that many. You ain't got to have $504 worth of Starbucks a month.
Give yourself a raise and take you a glass of water to work. Give yourself a raise. Right. You'll be good.
Pack a lunch. How many people don't bring lunch? Y'all people spend $20 a day on lunch.
Exactly.
At the end of the week, you just spent $100.
So we're gonna be excited when we drop this finance squad
honey,
destination retreat.
About it.
When we drop this finance squad destination retreat, when we're gonna go deep with folks.
You better speak, Mordecai.
It's gonna be. I mean, really, we talking 3-4 days of intensive and really getting into who you are and helping you get set up. But that's down the road. We gotta go. We're out of time, Chris.
We out of time. And folks, when that happens, you better believe it's gonna be on the island somewhere. Because when people trying to get your money right, at least at night you can have a cocktail and look at the moon.
Oh, you said it's on the island, Chris. I was gonna say, well, we carpooling, but I don't think we can carpool to the island.
We need a destination
Forrest not gonna be there. Forrest is not invited.
Forrest say he ain't carpooling. If we can't carpool Santana, he ain't coming. He ain't coming.
I'm going.
All right. So, guys, I want to thank you for another amazing night with the Finance Squad. Folks, please be sure to watch the previous segments on budgeting. Get ready for next week because they're going to dig deep into this debt resolution. And as Santana said, what do you say about debt, Santana?
Debt is doing everything before time.
Doing everything.
All right, folks, on that one, we're out. We'll see you guys next week.